Once wolves coursed Yellowstone like migrating weather, arriving, vanishing, returning with the seasons. Then fear and policy turned against them. Ranchers guarding cattle and sheep saw a rival. Game managers eager to build desirable herds of elk and deer saw a competitor. The government, reflecting the public mood of the early 20th century, declared predators a menace to be controlled. Traps, poisons, bounties, even den gassing followed. Inside the new national park, the same mindset held sway: remove wolves to protect game. By 1926, the work was grimly complete. The last known wolves in Yellowstone were killed, and the valleys fell quiet. To much of the country, the silence sounded like progress. To the land, it was an absence, a top note missing from a complex chord. Decades passed, and our understanding shifted. Science revealed a park as an orchestra, not a collection. Remove a section and the music changes. The Endangered Species Act transformed moral unease into legal responsibility, and biologists began to ask how to mend what had been unmade. Plans for wolf recovery in the northern Rockies took shape, and a massive public process unfolded. Hearings from small towns to big cities, stacks of comment letters, neighbors arguing across kitchen tables and courthouse steps. Opposition was fierce and often heartfelt. Ranchers warned of calves and lambs taken, of livelihoods thinned by teeth in the night. Outfitters and hunters feared empty ridges and elk bugles fading. Local officials bristled at federal rules they believed would tie their hands. Supporters answered with ecology and identity. A national park should be whole. Yellowstone without wolves was a broken promise. In the end, the proposal that moved forward tried to weave caution into restoration. Wolves would return as a non-essential experimental population under the Endangered Species Act, legal shorthand that granted managers unusual flexibility. Every wolf would carry a radio collar. Releases would be soft, from acclimation pens, not open truck doors. Chronic livestock killers could be moved or removed. Landowners could haze wolves near their stock and in emergencies defend human life. A private fund would compensate verified losses so one family's misfortune didn't subsidize a public good. With those guardrails in place, the decision was made. Yellowstone would hear wolves again. On frigid January days in 1995, the first crates crossed the park boundary and were lowered into pens tucked along the Lamar Valley. Weeks later, the gates eased open and gray shapes, nervous, electric, impossibly alive, stepped into a home they'd only smelled and heard. More wolves followed in 1996. The reaction beyond the fence line split like a river around a stone. There were protest signs and lawsuits, no wolves bumper stickers and bitter coffee at cafe counters. There were also spotting scopes sprouting along pullouts, school kids cheering, and the first dawn when an old sound lifted over willow and snow. Conflicts came as predicted. Managers moved some wolves, removed a few, and paid for losses that could be proven. Most ranchers saw fewer depredations than they feared. Some saw none at all. And on the land, the web tightened. Elk still roamed in great herds, but their behavior changed. More wary in open bottoms, quicker to abandon browsed willows. Calf survival waxed and waned under new pressures shared with bears, cougars, winters, and hunters. Coyotes dropped in number on wolf turf, shifting the fortunes of foxes and pronghorn fawns. Scavengers, eagles, ravens, even grizzlies fed at wolf-made carcasses. In places, young aspens and willows rose beyond the reach of hungry mouths, and beavers spread their slow, wet architecture. Not a fairy tale, not a single switch flipped, but a long conversation between predator, prey, people, and place. A repair that required constant attention. Today, Yellowstone's howls do not promise perfection. They promise relationship. A park can only be as wild as the choices we make for it. 3 small gates swung open in winter, and an old rhythm found its measure again. In that rhythm, argument and adaptation, damage and healing, the country learned something it had once forgotten, that the land is not whole without its shadows, and that even after silence, a chorus can return.